Good morning, Sully.
What's happening, boss?
Well, we're right there, man. We're right at the finish line.
Got that right, man. It's an exciting time of year. And tell us about Camden, man. You got the high. They're on a hot streak.
I think at this point we might have to change it to who wants the high, not you want the high. I think Camden has played very, very well, and I've got to see them 3 times this season since they lost to Camden Catholic in I guess it was week 1, but really it was week 2 for Camden. They were 1-1 after that game, and since then they've just been unbelievable. They've won 6 in a row. I saw them beat Cedar Creek. They shut them out on the road. I saw them beat Pensacola. Another game the defense dominated. They scored on all 3 sides of the ball that game. And then last night, a game against a very, very high-powered Winslow team where Camden could have blown it. And to be honest, I think decent teams or bad teams blow a game like that. And Camden's a very good team. And they kind of reasserted themselves, took the game over, and won last night. And I was impressed. I've seen them do it different ways. Each time I'm more and more impressed. This is a very, very, very good team.
Were you surprised at the way that game played out? I mean, pretty high-scoring game, but we come to expect that from Camden, and Winslow hung right with them.
I wasn't too surprised. I mean, Winslow's a team here. They had their back against the wall. They were playing for a playoff berth. They have a lot of talent on offense. They've got 2 very, very good running backs. Their quarterback is maybe one of the most underrated players in South Jersey. He can really wing it around. And the wind kind of changed up. It dropped about 15, 17 degrees in the second half, and it was a kickoff. It was a very odd night altogether. So I wasn't too surprised. A kick return got Winslow right back in it. Winslow hung tough with RV earlier this year. So the potential was there for them to win, and certainly the motivation was to make the playoffs. But Camden just wouldn't be denied, man, and that's kind of been the story of their season.
Now, Mark, looking ahead to the playoffs a little bit in non-public B South, could be a confrontation between St. Joe and Holy Spirit. We saw them play earlier this year. They likely will be the top 2 seeds. If that does happen, if that comes about in the championship game, what do you think of that matchup? I mean, that's really what everybody's looking for in that bracket.
Man, I mean, we went from Camden to non-public Group B there. Real quick, you're throwing those curveballs. I like it, Sully. You're trying to make up for the Dodgers staff in the World Series. I would say
when your fastball isn't working, you got to go to the off-speed stuff.
That's right, man. I hope they play again. I really do. I think it would be great for South Jersey. I think that's a game when I know Spirit kind of wishes they had a couple kids in the lineup that transferred in that were out for the 30-day rule. They also had another kid out of the lineup who's one of their better players in Tarsipano. I'm sure they want another shot. They put together a very good first half against St. Joe. Second half, the Joeys dominated, and they've done that all season. I think if the 2 met again, I just love all the storylines that would come with that, man. You got Josh Samant in his last high school game. You got same with Townsville for St. Joe. You got kind of the big bad wing T team or the Wildcat team against innovative offensive Spirit. You got Roman, you got Shotgun, you got I mean, there's just so many different levels of it that would be pretty neat to see.
Talk with Mark Trible of the Courier-Post, and Mark, some pretty interesting games last night. Obviously, St. Augustine beating Vineland 14-0. Shawnee with a big 38-6 win over Hamilton. What do we make of Shawnee at this point in the season?
Well, I'm a lot has changed since the beginning of the season. They are not near the level where we had imagined they should be, but they've had a lot of injuries that have caused that. That being said, the fail-safe for them from the beginning of the season to me was they should probably win South Jersey Group 4, or they should at least be in the championship, just because their tradition, their talent, and when you look around that group, there's just not a whole lot there. I'll be honest with you, and that's where they are. So in a way, they're still in the spot. I imagine they would be, and I'll say, you got Burlington Township, you got a couple teams in there that could make the run and do it. But this is Shawnee's bracket to lose, and I think everybody would probably agree with that. That's where we thought they would be, and that's where they are.
We are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought they were.
Bringing up the old Denny Green quote there.
Yeah, that was quite a night. They blew that game in Chicago, man. I'll never forget that. Sexy Rex Grossman, man. I think that's what they call him.
Yep. So, Mark, Kevin and I from SJVarsity.com, we were talking a little bit about South Jersey Group 5, and, man, this is one of those brackets where you kind of just throw out the seeds. I mean, anybody can beat anybody in that bracket. So many tough teams. How do you think that'll play out as we get started next week?
Well, Cherokee and Williamstown played this afternoon, and that will do a lot to determine, I think, how a couple of these matchups will pan out. And that really, Sully, I hate to keep going back to that, man, but that really is where we're going to find out who should be favored. You're got a team like Vineland who's going to go on the road and play a very good team. Now, who will the winner of that play in the second round? Is it a team that maybe had a lighter test in the first round? I mean, now everything starts coming into play. Millville has not lost this season. Millville won it last season with the same core of kids. I don't see how anybody can tell me Millville isn't the favorite to win it again. With that being said, I do not believe there's much separation between RV, Lenape, Cherokee, Williamstown, Vineland. Any of these teams on any given day do not have to play their best game to get an upset. They do not have to play poorly to be upset. So now you've got the variables kind of down to turnovers, big plays, just good old-fashioned football, man. This is going to be an excellent bracket, and I feel the same way with South Jersey Group 2, man. I think it's going to be a very, very good bracket.
Yeah, I'm a little wary of Millville. I mean, yeah, they're undefeated, but they've had some tough games recently where they've gotten off to slow starts and kind of had to scramble in the second half to get some wins.
I will say this. You're exactly right about the Bolts. But last night, that's a game. Does it really matter to Millville? I guess it does. I mean, you want to keep staying undefeated. You certainly don't want to lose. But they reeled off points in that fourth quarter.
Right.
I mean, they turned it on, and that's an AC team that not only is very, very, very solid, but that's an AC team that, is fighting, really, really fighting. And they put them away. They slammed the door shut. There's not, in high school football, it's kind of difficult to score a lot in quick bursts. That, to me, that kind of puts teams at another level. Millville can do that.
Yeah, you're kind of playing with fire a little bit, though, if you're always waiting to flip the switch. I mean, it's not going to be easy to flip the switch if you're playing a Lenape or an RV or a team like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think Dennis Thomas and those kids, they know what it takes, man. And they know in the playoffs, this is a team that went on the road twice, beat two teams that nobody thought they should beat. Then they won in the championship against a defending champion who hadn't lost in like 24 games.
Yeah.
They know now is the time to flip the switch. They've been playing all season for this chance again to make some special history down there in the Holly City.
Talking with Mark Trible of the Courier-Post. Mark, real quick before we let you go, what's the biggest thing on your radar heading into the week one of the playoffs?
The seedings in 5. The seedings in Group 5. Absolutely. I just want to see kind of how it pans out. And there will be a game in that first round where somebody has the game everybody else is going to want in terms of the matchup. And they're going to have an easier road to the second round. And I think that is vital absolutely think it's vital. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure we could still see Millville and Barlow in the first round, maybe.
Right.
So let's see where those matchups fall. I've been interested in that for, I don't know, 2 months now. It became very clear early on, that loaded bracket. A lot would be determined by who was playing where and who, and we're going to find out very soon.
That's definitely going to be a bracket to watch. Like you said, Group 5 and Group 2, talking 3-4 weeks of just outstanding football.
Absolutely, Sully. This is the best time of year. And last night it finally felt like it is this time of year with the temperatures dipped a little bit. So bundle up, get ready, get your popcorn, man.
Get your rest, man. It's going to be a sprint to the finish here in the next couple of weeks.
Let's do it.
Thanks, as always, Mark. We appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, Sully.
That was Mark Trible of the Courier-Post.